Let's move on to main topic number 3. And our third main topic today gets submitted to us by Greg T., who writes, "Hello, John and Rob. The last couple of days, I've seen a story on multiple sites claiming that Warner Brothers is looking to replace Jason Momoa as Aquaman. Why do something like this? A lot of people, including me, really love Jason in the role, and he's perfect for it. Why mess with something that is working so well? What are your thoughts on this stupid decision?" All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, Greg. And yes, Aquaman is a film that, hell, I always knew would succeed. I never thought in a million years it would make $1 billion. Hell, I didn't think it would make $800 million. I knew it would be successful, but I did not think it would be that. Shattered a lot of expectations, made $1 billion film. It was the first DCEU movie to make $1 billion at the box office. And it, of course, starred Jason Momoa, who did a great job in it, as a matter of fact. He was fabulous. You know, a lot of people had some question marks about him. I thought he was a great choice, and I'm super glad that he did, and I thought he was wonderful in it. So now come these reports on site after site after site after site after site that apparently Warner Brothers is looking to ditch Jason Momoa and move in a new direction with somebody else being Aquaman. Guys, I can understand why I got so many questions at the John Campea Show. I understand why I got so many questions regarding this topic. Because, again, it was on site after site after site. The headlines are all over the place. Warner Brothers looking to replace Jason Momoa as Aquaman. And what I always tell you guys is this. When you see these stories, read it, number one. Don't just read the headlines. Read the story. And once you read the story, what you then need to do is follow the source. Where does that website say they got that information? Where does the website that you're reading say they got that information? And then follow that to where they got the information, and then see where that site got the information, and follow the telephone line. And to nobody's surprise on planet Earth, it ends up that the source for this particular story of Warner Brothers wanting to replace Jason Momoa is, you guessed it, WeGotThisCovered.com, which if you have watched us for any period of time, you know never, ever, ever listen to any scoop that comes from WeGotThisCovered.com. Again, I say this all the time, to be fair to them, they can be a very great entertaining site with their editorials and their fun articles and things like that, but whenever they break a scoop, it's all BS. It's all absolute BS. If you want to know why this one's BS in particular, besides the fact that literally there was a mathematical study done on the We Got This Covered stories, and it turned out that 97.3% of all their scoops ended up to not be true. They were false. If you wanted any other reason why this is false, when you go into the We Got This Covered story, they say that here's what Warner Brothers is doing. They're going to do Aquaman Part 2, and they're going to do it this way. And then they're going to do Aquaman Part 3. And at the end of Aquaman Part 3, Jason Momoa goes full-time as King of Atlantis. And then realizing he doesn't have enough time to be full-time King of Atlantis, he gives the mantle of Aquaman to a new person after Aquaman 3. So in Aquaman 4 is when you're getting a new person. They have not got that far yet. All right? They're nowhere near that. This is such BS. Yeah, so no, I get why people are asking the question. I do. I completely understand. Because again, site after site after site after site after site, they're all writing about this and all running these headlines. So I get why people are asking, but again, follow the source. This is coming from We Got This Covered. And even if it was coming from Variety and I read what they wrote, I would say, no, this isn't true at all. They're not thinking about Aquaman 4 right now. They don't even have their director signed for Aquaman 2 at this point. So no, guys, I know the headlines are out there, but no, Jason Momoa is not going anywhere as Aquaman. And listen, maybe he doesn't do Aquaman 4, but there's a lot of actors don't end up doing a fourth film in a franchise anyway. So no, Warner Brothers right now is not looking at how to get rid of Jason Momoa. It would be absolutely asinine. So anyway, Rob, you heard this. I mean, look, we always say never. Is there any possibility here that Warner Brothers, I don't know, maybe Jason Momoa is a pain in the ass behind the scenes? Everything I've heard, he's a great guy to work with, but is there any possibility to this?
Unless he's uncovered as being some kind of time-traveling Nazi that worked in the concentration camps in 1945, I would say no, there is not. I mean, like you said, he's a linchpin of a movie that made $1 billion. Nobody expected it to make $1 billion. Obviously, he went out and did everything that was required of him he went all over the world doing press on this movie. Everyone seems to have liked him. James Wan had a great experience with him. The idea that he's going to be replaced is, I think, absurd. And by the way, We Got This Covered is the weekly world news of genre, of the movie pundit community. They might as well start doing stories on the Bat Boy that the Weekly World News used to have on their cover when you'd go shopping at the supermarket. That site is so irresponsible. And the fact that we spend so much time having to debunk the drivel that they publish, I don't understand it. I don't know. I guess they get the clicks. But come on, man.
This is the part that frustrates me. The part that frustrates me is that if it was all harmless, that's fine. But when you sow misinformation and confusion amongst the film fan community, that's no good. That's no good. And at some point, they're going to have to be held responsible for this, to just randomly going out and just throwing all this misinformation that is just purposely meant to just draw in clicks. I get it. I understand that. You're in the business of getting clicks. I get that. But do it with legitimate information, or do it with editorial pieces, or do it with making it clear that not proposing something as fact that's not fact. Yeah. And I don't know. It gets to be frustrating. And so obviously, like I said, it's understandable that the fans, because I got at least 20 emails on this over the last 24 hours from people writing in and saying, John, did you see this? Did you see this? It's like, you're causing confusion. You're causing misinformation, and it's unfortunate. But anyway, guys, you saw that, but maybe you think there is a legit chance that Jason Momoa, Warner Brothers wants to kick out Jason Momoa. What do you guys think? Jump down in the comment section below and let us know your thoughts and what thoughts there are to have.